Hey Clashes, sneak peek number 3 for the first big update of 2024, and we take a closer look at the Dark Spell Factory. That's right, we have a new level for that building, and this means we get a new spell in the game as well. But let's start things off at the beginning. You can unlock the new level for the Dark Spell Factory already on Town Hall level 12. That's right, you can unlock it already on Town level 12, which means you can use that spell already on Town level 12 as well. But what does this spell now do? Well, this spell only works on buildings. That's the first important thing, and it's a combination of different spell effects. First off, it turns those buildings invisible. Second thing, it freezes those buildings. And third thing is, it makes those buildings invincible. Really important, as you were able to tell already with the gameplay running. The defensive heroes, defensive troops, attacking heroes, all of them are not getting affected by the spell. It's really only buildings getting affected and nothing else. That is really important to understand because traps can still get triggered, clan castles can be still lured, and so on. That's really important. As soon as the spell runs out, everything is as normal. And you can upgrade that spell already really early on, as I said, on town level 12, then on level 14, and then 16 on the maxed out level. If you want to boost your progress a little bit with buying Gold Pass, any offers from the in-game shop and so on, make sure to support your favorite content creator out there. If you want to support this channel and me, make sure to use code iTzu. I really appreciate that, but let me again show you what I mean with those buildings are invincible. Well, if you're turning those buildings invincible with a new spell, you can tell the blimp is flying there, the death damage doesn't work, the bombs do not work, but the clan castle is still getting lured out. This obviously is affected, or like, this area is not getting affected by any spells, like earthquakes, for example, are not affecting those buildings and so on. Now the question as well is, how do you use this? Well, there is multiple use cases, and I want to make sure that you know this spell is for pretty much every player. You can use it on a really basic level, and you can use it really on the highest level of attacks with like incorporating that with Lalo and so on. But let's start things off on the easiest level. On any of those spam type strategies, like for example with the Root Riders, you can replace this with dragons, dragon riders, super dragons, elite dragons, whatever you want to do. It's really efficient. So what you're doing with this, you're pretty much always, as always, deploying your troops in a line, and then you're going to, well, make those side flanks invisible and invincible and freeze them up, which creates perfect pathing, so your troops won't walk around the base anymore if you had that problem. And those buildings are getting frozen, which means, well, no problem because you do not have any damage against you anymore. So take a look at this. We have turned both of those flanks invisible. And all of my troops are walking into the core, and as soon as they are in the core, then they're getting visible again, and everything can spread and beautifully smash that base and get a nice 3-star. This, as I said, works with pretty much any of those spammy type attacks, I guess, like the Root Rider one with the Valkyries and Witches, for example, as I'm doing right now. This works with the Dragons, Dragon Riders, all of those different attack strategies where you have like this more spammy type approach. But don't worry, as I already said, this works with pretty much different skill level and different strategies, which why I think this spell is just so cool. As well, what makes this spell kind of unpredictable. This might break Clash of Clans with being way too strong and someone finds a crazy use case. So I would love to know how you would actually use this spell and what in your opinion is the best use case. On this current attack, you can tell already Root Riders are far from being dead. They're still really strong, smashing maxed out bases. And what helps as well is the spell, and obviously on top of that, the new equipment for the Root Rider. For the Royal Champion, which means spawning the Hog Riders and making your Royal Champion attack way faster is a huge improvement, and I think overall works really well with most of your ground attacks. As well, I would do a ranking tomorrow again, then with all of the equipment, with the bug fixes, with the balance changes to every single equipment, that we're going to rank again depending on your strategy and your town level, what equipments you should choose and upgrade, because with the right now crazy ore costs, you have to pick one set to upgrade those, and you cannot really upgrade everything, so you have to make those wise decisions. But now let's get back to the next approach, where this one is now more on the fancy side and more on the higher skill floor, which means you can turn things invisible to make your siege machines travel all the way and behind those buildings to deliver some type of bomb. I mean, this means a Yeti clone bomb could work, super wizards as what I'm doing right now, super archers, anything can work with this setup. You have to be with this more creative, that's for sure, and maybe this not works versus every single base, but it is for sure really strong. You can do crazy things with this setup, and you can really deliver a lot of troops deeper into the core. You can do this with the super minion blimp, for example, as well, to really take advantage, for example, of the new minion level. But either way, one of the best follow-ups is still going to be Lalo. Because remember, before the update, yes, Lalo was stronger than Root Riders, and even after the update, Lalo is still going to be the strongest strategy. No wonder, because it was the strategy which was not nerfed, and considered one of the best strategies already before the update. But this means for us, a nice, it's not even a blimp anymore. I would like to know, how would we call this? It's a root drill? Whatever it is, but either way, we got already great value with our siege machine, and now it's all about just following things up with the Lalo. Another thing which right now here is nice is, again, you have to pick the right Royal Champion equipment. I think with the Royal Champions on her own, a lot of times I like and really prefer the combination of the Haste Vial and the Royal Gem, because the overall huge DPS increase with both of them stacking together works really well. And if you do not have a warden ability to cover for your hogs, they're going down quite quick, and the overall base stats of that equipment are not that great. So I would argue the hogs for attacks like this is not as nice as some of the other ground attacks. But you can already, my loons are going through this, it's like nothing. We have the Royal Champion ability, turning her into like a, I don't know, machine gun or something, where she's like non-stop firing those spears and smashing all of the buildings, or even heroes are going down within seconds, which is crazy. And we're going to smash easily this base and collect yet another 3-star. Another question might be, what is my next approach for this spell? As I said, I want to show you my top 3 use cases for this spell. The first one is really to create funnel, make sure the flanks have no chance of fighting back to your attacks. Doesn't matter if it's Root Rider, doesn't matter if it is any type of dragon attack, for example. Second approach was the nice and fancy use case to get siege machines behind buildings and really far into the base. And now the third one is for queen charges, for example. Because remember, it is kind of like a stronger invis and free spell at the same time. Which means you can just replace 2 of your freezes in your army composition with this one spell. What this does, well, you have a way longer freeze duration, and especially versus heavily stacked core bases, this is amazing. But not only you can use it as an invisibility redirection spell on top of that as well. This is like a huge multi-use spell which has so many different purposes and so many different use cases that it can be insanely flexible, but at the same time, as I said earlier, this makes it really not easy to use. Because with always having those quick millisecond decision making being really needed, it is something you have to consider when trying it out in your attacks, because remember, you have to make sure that you're using it wisely, because it can mess things up really bad if you're turning some buildings invincible which you wanted to take down. For us right now, what is the idea here? Well, those expos are out of range, and will stay out of range for my queen for quite some time. The client castle will come out as well, and all of this is going to be an annoying timing. So what I'm going to do instead, I will just, well, put them into roots, and I still have to find a nice way to put that and how to word that, because it's not really a freeze, it's not really an invis. Well, let me know how you think I should call this. Turn them over. The spell name is not really kind of working either. But either way, we're making sure that our hero is not getting hit at all. And imagine this on completely stacked ring bases, for example, box bases. We can just turn out one of those flanks, and it's just crazy how really good this is. For this one, you can tell already as well, Root Riders, they are still insanely strong, especially with a good Queen Charge combined. It's going to be one of the strongest strategies. I have seen already some people being concerned that they have to pick up new strategies quickly. Well, if you were able to play Root Rider, Mass Root Rider, if you were able to play Queen Shot Root Riders, you're still going to be fine. There's just going to be now more stuff which is viable with the new level to the Super Bowlers, to the Hogs, and everything else obviously as well, and the Dragon buffs on top of that. So there's now going to be a ton of different options you can play, and I really want to hear what your best use cases are with this new spell, because as I said earlier, I think this has the potential to break the game, but at the same time it kind of depends on how creative people get and how many good use cases they can find. This was my top 3. I hope you liked the video. Now, we'll see you guys back tomorrow to really make sure that I can showcase you and tell you what equipments you should upgrade depending on your town level and your strategy. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys back tomorrow with the next one. Until then, see ya and bye-bye.